Oh, you're back. Preheat the oven to 400 degrees. Once your dough has risen to double its original bulk, which should take at least a half an hour and generally an hour or longer, you're ready to punch it down and roll out the pretzels. Punch all the air out of the dough and turn it onto a lightly floured surface. Knead it a little bit, but not too much. Form the dough into roughly the shape of a loaf of bread. Using a sharp knife, cut the dough into several pieces. Cut as many or as few as you like, but the ideal size is probably around the size of a tennis ball, but no bigger than a fist. Roll the pieces of dough out like so. I generally use an unfloured surface, as a little bit of stickiness is your friend when you're rolling them out. Too much flour and the dough will merely slide back and forth. You can fix any odd bits by rolling them between your hands. Now to make the knot. First, make a horseshoe shape. Then, twist the ends around each other and fold them over. It takes a little bit of practice. Press them against the opposite side, and you have your pretzel. I sometimes have trouble rolling out the dough, and those bits of onion and garlic don't make it any easier, so a lot of the time I end up rolling it out in the air between my hands like this. There's nothing wrong with rolling it out this way, but you have to be careful not to let the dough fall apart. Now, some recipes tell you to let the pretzels rise before you boil them, and some have you drop them straight into the water. I prefer boiling them immediately, but I'll show you how to do both. For the ones that you let rise, put them either under plastic wrap or a damp kitchen towel. Let's go ahead and get the toppings ready. This is minced garlic and onion. Now, while those pretzels are rising or while you're rolling them out, go ahead and put a pot on the stove with a few cups of water in it, turn it to medium-high, and bring it to a boil. Get out the baking soda and pour a few tablespoons into the pot. You want to keep the water at a high simmer, but not a rolling boil. The baking soda will foam up and then the water will clarify. Take a pretzel and drop it straight into the water. Let it sit there for 30 seconds to a minute. Use a slotted spoon to poke them around and make sure they don't stick together. Try to turn them at least once during the process. You can use a pot of any size, but a large pot like this will allow you to do 2 or more at once. After no longer than a minute, carefully lift each pretzel out of the pot and place on a cooling rack over a towel or several paper towels to dry. These 4 pretzels were allowed to rise before being boiled. These 2 were not. In my experience, boiling the pretzels immediately instead of allowing them to rise first results in a better shape and texture. Line a baking sheet with parchment paper or cornmeal or just grease it. I'm topping these pretzels with the rest of the minced garlic and onions and Parmesan cheese. If you want to make them vegan, you can omit the Parmesan cheese and if you like, salt the pretzels. Bake the pretzels for 15 minutes or until golden brown, checking after 10 minutes. Clear the table of any cats, and once they are done, place the pretzels on a cooling rack. What is that monstrosity on the right? Well, we all have culinary disasters from time to time, and that pretzel at the bottom right looks terrible, but it'll still taste delicious, so I think I'll tear it up and eat it before anybody else notices. The pretzels that I boiled immediately instead of allowing them to rise first do look better than the others. Take this little one for example. But they'll all taste the same. Now let's get started on the cinnamon sugar pretzels. All you need to top these is cinnamon and sugar mixed together. Now, if you have trouble shaping the pretzels, you can always practice on a piece of string. Just start with a U shape, twist the ends together, and fold them across. Let's do that again. Start with a U, twist the ends together, and fold them over. Now, if you have trouble rolling them out, you can start to roll each one out and let it rest for a few minutes. This gives the gluten a chance to relax and makes it easier to roll it out the rest of the way. In either case, the method is the same as before. Roll them out into a long rope. Start with a U shape, twist the ends, fold them over, and press firmly to the other side. You don't want the pretzel falling apart in the water. There you have it. This one is a little long, and I think it's going to fall apart when I try to boil it, but I'll do it anyway. Now, the boiling method is exactly the same as for the other pretzels, but you might want to change the water as the flavor could be adversely affected. Bake the pretzels as before for 15 minutes or until golden brown. In the meantime, melt a few tablespoons of butter in a small dish. Vegans can substitute certain brands of margarine or shortening. Just check the ingredients first for fish oil or whey. It looks like that one pretzel did fall apart when I boiled it, but it'll still be tasty. This batch went right into the water without rising first. Brush each pretzel generously with butter. Be sure to give each a good coating, as this is what will make the cinnamon and sugar stick to the pretzels. Yes, even that ugly one in the upper left. After you've done that, sprinkle on the cinnamon and sugar. Be generous with it, but if you have any left over, save it and put it on toast. Cinnamon toast. Both batches of pretzels that we made tonight should keep just fine at room temperature for a few days. They will keep slightly longer in the refrigerator and can easily be frozen. Boy, do those look delicious. It looked so easy. Well, that's about it for tonight's episode. Tune in next time for information on something else. Coming soon on Miscellanea. What is that mysterious cylinder he keeps just off camera? Is it a pickling crock? An umbrella stand? A mysterious artifact salvaged from the ruins of an ancient city founded by extraterrestrials? And what could be inside? Who knows? Find out in the next exciting episode of Miscellanea!